Hi, and welcome to another episode of Event Pros, preparing today for tomorrow. And today we have a very insightful entrepreneur with us, Keegan Nanan from the Gourmet Prep. Now, let me just start by saying the Gourmet Prep is not just a catering company. It is actually so much more. Keegan, I just want to say welcome to you. I'm so glad that you're here with us, and please share with us, what is the Gourmet Prep?
Awesome. Well, thank you, Angela, so much for having me on this morning. I really appreciate you reaching out and getting us connected to do this. So a little bit about what Gourmet Prep is. So we're not just, like you said, your average catering company or meal prep company. We're a very custom, personalized chef at your service kind of idea that we wanted to come up with here. So what we do is we deliver fresh made meals and catering events right to your door. Contactless, we can do it online. Everybody can place their order through myself, through an email, or just go right into our website. And we really, really want to hammer in how good our customer service is and our personal touch that we do to each and every client. Like I said, we're not your average chef's plate or your HelloFresh. We're an actual human being on the other side. So we really want to get to know our customers on a more intimate level, get to know what they like to eat out for dinner, for movies, and what they want in their lifestyle and their diet. Because as you know, diet this time of year is really, really important, and for what everybody's eating and consuming. So what we do is we take people's diets. If they're like, hey, Keegan, I can't have dairy. I'm celiac, I'm gluten-free. We'll take that and we'll create them their own personalized menu that nobody else has. So it's very unique to them. So that's kind of the personal chef touch that we do with our service here in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I know that you had mentioned this before too, and I just want to shine a light on it. It's not just, and by the way, we do gluten-free. In fact, your kitchen is a gluten-free kitchen.
Correct. We do everything in our power when we create those menus to make sure our kitchen is 100% gluten-free. I know you've checked out our facility. We actually split it. So there's actually a wall where we do also rent it out to other businesses, but there's a wall where people have gluten and one where on our cold side where there's actually no flour. But there is still flour on one side of our kitchen, but we do everything in our power to make sure that our other side is always cleaned, always sterilized. All of our menus, when we do create it, is always gluten-free friendly.
Yes. Yeah, and that's something that is really, really important for those folks out there that are just, super sensitive. It's a very big deal for them. And as well, okay, so you just said something else that's really important to shine a light on. Mm-hmm. This is a big issue because there's a lot of people who think, I'm going to just start a catering company and I'm going to cook the food out of my home. Mm-hmm. And from there, I'm just going to sell it to people that they don't have the insurance or not. And they're really putting themselves at risk, and more importantly, they're putting their customers at risk with that. Yep. Can you just talk a little bit about the space that you rent out to other catering companies or people that are looking at serving in that way, and why that's so important?
So it's really important because you hit it right on the head there when you said there's a lot of people that are like, this person makes food. I make food. Why can't I just sell it from my home? There's so much more logistics that go behind when you're opening up anything in the hospitality industry, whether it is a catering company or you're just baking muffins and cakes from your house, such as getting your food safety permit, knowing how to handle food safely, purchasing food from a safe supplier, not just buying it by some person off the street and selling it to somebody else and they get sick and you get sued for liabilities. So it's very important to actually have one of the first things is a facility that's approved by the city of Edmonton and the AHS and food inspectors here in Edmonton. So we do have a facility like that. We've got one downtown as well. That's really, really great for kind of more of a farmer's market setup. So if you're just starting out into the catering business and you're just getting your feet wet and you're trying to figure out, how do I bake this cake in a safe environment? Who are the suppliers I need to talk to? How do I cost this out? That's what also we do too with Gourmet Prep. We've got an amazing facility downtown that we do rent out to other people that want to come in and start to learn how to cook safely and legitimately, getting all their permits, their license, their food safety certificates. We're there to help them and mentor them and also give them an AHS approved space to work out of with all the equipment needed.
And that is just so, so critical. And this is something that needs to really have attention, not just from, people in the event industry space, but as well organizations that are looking to hire. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's just not knowing on their part, and they're just like, well, it's a really great price and it's great food, and
Yeah.
not realizing, hey, you gotta go that extra step and understand, okay, they need to have all of these permits, they need to be cooking out of that safe space, and just for the protection of not only the organization, but all of the guests that they're gonna have at their event.
Exactly. And especially a lot of corporations and whoever's ordering off you, they want to know that you're actually cooking in a legitimate business and you're actually qualified to be doing that. You know, we get a lot of questions always because we do a lot of marketing through social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And a lot of people always comment and say, hey, are you licensed? Hey, do you have a commercial facility? So we have seen people starting to get more educated. But if you can jump on those questions right away and companies start to trust you, like, oh, you have your food safe certificate, you're a Red Seal chef, you've got an AHS approved facility. They like seeing that on anything that you're giving them. So it's always good information to have. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thanks for shining a little light on that. It's so critical. It's one of the things I've seen happen in that space. And when it does go sideways, it's not a good story. And it's honestly, when we're having an event, we want everybody's safety and well-being primary.
Yeah,
There was one other thing that really impressed me about how you've set up your business in this. It's interesting because you set it up COVID safe. Like that's how it's set up in your actual kitchen.
Yeah.
So everybody that is in that space is spaced out.
100%. We have quite a large facility that we work in, and the beauty of our business is we are literally just a 3-man team. So we're just 3 local chefs here in Edmonton making amazing meals for you. So it's really easy for us. We're more than 6 feet apart when we're cooking on the weekends for you guys. Like we're probably, I'd say, anywhere between 12 to 20 feet apart, or not even in the same room. There's only 2 of us in one room at a time, if that. So
and
it's
that's
really
great.
Yeah.
Really good to know it's safe, it's safely prepared, it's safely distributed, etc.
Yeah, and then exactly, we were already set up before COVID, ready for doing all of our contactless deliveries. The only little bit of a difference that we kind of took in minds of COVID happening here was we used to actually do that other extra step of customer service and go into people's home, load their fridge, chat with them. Now we've kind of just eased up on that and just dropped it off by the door. They get a text, they reply to the text, and we're all good to go. So that was kind of a little change up for us because we do miss that human touch and that human connection. Like I said, with our customers, we feel like they're more of our friends and family than they are just a dollar sign or a customer to us. They're really part of our gourmet family.
And it's interesting because the way that you've set up this food delivery, it kind of was a natural pivot for you guys, or not even really a pivot. It was an add-on to incorporate servicing events because you're seeing a lot more of this blended type of event out there where, you know, there is a live component, or maybe these virtual events where people want to have that, you know, it's like you're there, but you're virtual. So delivery of food items to people's doors from a great menu, that's something that you guys do.
Yeah, 100%. So it was very easy for us to pivot with COVID happening, with us being a contactless delivery service as well. Whether you just place your order online, and if you do want to get more custom and more kind of hands-on with it, you give me a call and you're talking to your personal chef. He can fix you up that menu. And then on Sunday, every Sunday, fresh meals come delivered right to your door. They're already cooked and ready for you to eat or share with your family or bring to work. It's completely up to you on how you want to work it and eat it and do it within your lifestyle.
I think that there's a lot more awareness than maybe there was 6 months, maybe a year. Like people have always wanted food safety. It's always been.
Yeah, and I think it's become a really big issue, especially with what's going on in the world today, is food safety, food issues, being in a licensed AHS facility, having AHS behind you, your food safety license and all that stuff too, as well as taking all these practices in place and applying them to your job that you're doing.
Yeah. And the cakes one, that's an interesting one because I've seen it. There's quite a lot of them out there where they're making a cake out of their home. And
and the issue that people don't really think about it, and just a prime example of like, hey, I'm a baker and I bake at home. Do you have pets at home? Do you have, maybe a baby running around that's throwing food? And the biggest one is pet hair. So when you're cooking in your kitchen at home and your pet's running around and you're baking with these cakes, it's not food safe because I might have an allergy to a dog or a cat. And then you give me this cake and I break out in a reaction, I'm going to be coming after you. Whereas if you've got that backing of being, hey, you know, I worked in an AHS facility, this is my food handling permit, this is my licensing, this is where we're doing it out of, that customer is going to be so much more likely to reorder from you and come back to you. And especially big businesses are going to be like, hey, you know, I want to trust a business that has a foothold here in Edmonton, that has an AHS approved facility, that is licensed, that has their food safe certificate, and I feel safe ordering from them.
Totally
Yep.
right. And ultimately, it's about having the best interest of the customer at heart. Really, that's just the bottom line. It's
Yes,
just the bottom line.
you want to make sure you guys are safe when you're ordering from us, or else we're not going to have business.
Yeah, absolutely. And organizations, when they're having events, whether it's virtual, live, or blended, there's two big things they're doing. A, they are having people remember their brand.
Yeah.
By that experience, right? So whatever that experience is, if I break out in hives, I don't have a good association with that brand.
Yeah, definitely.
And vice versa, right? Like if I had a great experience and the food was great and wow, what an engaging event that was, and I'm going to have that association with that brand. I'm going to walk away from it. So it's super, super important. It's a real critical piece of any event. Yes. And, but I want to kind of backtrack a little bit. We've had a real big discussion on what is the Gourmet Prep, but I also want to learn a little bit more about you. So what got you into this to begin with? Where did this begin for you?
So I myself, I've been cooking for about 16 plus years, and I started off in the fine dining restaurants, of working in Fairmont, Banff Springs, Chateau Lake Louise. We also did a couple of restaurants here in Edmonton and worked at Square One for a little bit, did a couple of stuff with a workshop and all that stuff as well. So with that all being said, I saw the need for this custom quality restaurant food, but also healthy. And a lot of restaurants that I've cooked in, you know, it was always butter, cream, some unhealthy ingredients, but restaurants were made to spoil people. So I said, hey, I kind of want to take a healthy take on this and kind of make it for your lifestyle. So I noticed the hospitality industry changed so much, with a lot more celiacs coming in, a lot more people going plant-based, a lot more people wanting to know exactly where their food came from and what should I be eating to maintain my lifestyle. So I started and I partnered up with a couple of other food prep companies before getting into my own, just to, you know, test the waters and see what it was like. And the other thing I found when I did all my food prep stints here in Edmonton was people wanted custom. They wanted to have a personal chef touch. They didn't want to be like, hey, this is the menu, this is what you're getting, I can't change it. They wanted to be able to change it and be like, hey, I don't eat seafood. Can you make me something that doesn't have seafood? I trust you as a great chef, but I want you to make me a dish that doesn't have seafood, doesn't have dairy, doesn't have nuts. So that's where I saw this need of people want this personal chef service. They really love that customer service and the fact that they can tell their friends, hey, I have this awesome company that's like a personal chef for me. They'll make me whatever I want when I want it. So I saw this need here in Edmonton and I said, hey, this is a great little niche that I could possibly, you know, really do good in. So I just jumped in all in on it and said, hey, let's do gourmet prep. Let's make pre-made meals for people that are fresh, quality service, really, really talk up about our customers and how unique we are with them, creating that customer and client relationship. They're not just another dollar sign in my book. They're like our gourmet family. So that's kind of where the idea came from of how we created Gourmet Prep and wanted to supply the Edmonton area with great premium meals delivered right to your doorstep.
So I see when you're talking about this, Keegan, you have this passion that comes through about healthy food. Everybody should have amazing, delicious, healthy food.
Yeah.
Where's that from? What's that about for you?
Well, I think lifestyle, you know, I saw a lot of my friends too, even like I talked to a lot of them. They're like, hey, you know, we have skip the dish once a week. We eat Wendy's once a week. We eat McDonald's. We have a donair. And I'm like, oh, that's so bad for us, especially us at a younger generation. We're running out of time too to kind of be eating like that. It's going to affect us really negatively when we get older. So if I can, you know, supply you with great tasting food that is better than Wendy's and almost tastes as good, tastes better than Wendy's, and it's healthy for you. I saw a lot of the population here, even in Edmonton too, they were just not eating as healthy as they could have been. Right. And I wanted to use fresh ingredients, organic ingredients, give you a healthy lifestyle. And that's what we've kind of accomplished over the last year and a half of being opened is people are like, wow, I see such a difference in your meals compared to what I used to eat. I used to be so busy in the office. I'd just get skipped the dish. I'd get a burger. I'd get pizza and I felt like crap. I felt lazy, felt lethargic. I worked a 6-hour shift and I was tired. They're like, now I can work like 10 hours and I feel great. And I want to like go do more stuff. I want to be more energetic. I want to enjoy this 30-degree weather that we're having with the heat wave. So like, it's great to just see that. And it's great to see my food do that for clients.
Yeah, that's huge. Actually, many years ago, that was me. You just described me. And I would order food and I thought, I am being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I am ordering a healthy meal. I would order a salad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I would order whatever. Even like a shepherd's pie, I thought, oh, it's potatoes. It's meat.
Yeah, comfort. Yeah, exactly.
How unhealthy can this be?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of ingredients in that food that is not healthy. There's a lot of calories that you don't even realize. And even something like a salad dressing can have a lot of calories and not good stuff in it.
100%. There's a lot of stuff, even on their supermarket shelf, or even on like, you go look at a package in your fridge that you bought from Safeway or Save On or any other grocery store that's out there, and you'd be surprised at how much preservatives, how much sugar, how much unnatural ingredients are in there. And we wanted to be that company that's like, hey, if you're going to order broccoli from us, it's just going to be fresh broccoli. If you're going to order chicken from us, it's going to be a fresh chicken from the Hutterite colonies or from one of our really trusted farm suppliers. Like, it's going to be fresh organic food brought to your table.
Mm-hmm. Knowing where your food comes from.
Knowing it is that educational piece. People want to know exactly where their food came from. We cut a lot of our own fish in house, our own steaks in house too, to keep that freshness and that quality there.
Mm-hmm. So you also mentioned it's like cooking for your gourmet prep family. So do you do a lot of cooking for your own family?
Oh, 100%. I can't. Every holiday, it's like, I wonder if Keegan's cooking this holiday. It's like I don't even get Christmases or Thanksgivings anymore. But no, I do a lot of cooking for my family, and I love it too because it's a little bit different than what I do for Gourmet Prep. It's actually kind of stuff that I really enjoy kind of dabbling into and experimenting with. They're like my guinea pigs. So I can be like, hey guys, I'm thinking of putting this on the menu next week. I'm going to make you guys this if you want me to cook. So it's great.
Do you do as well different ethnic type of dishes?
Yeah, 100%. I go all the way from, Thai to Indian to Italian. Italian is one of my favorite ones to cook. I'm a big pasta guy, even though, those carbs are really not that great for you. Where I was brought up in when I first started cooking. So I have a really big soft spot for that. So we do all range.
So who is the chef in your house? Who is the cook? Where did you get this cooking bug from?
Oh, 100% I'd have to say it came from my mom. I remember from just a young age, even when I was like 2 or 3, she'd be making family dinners. And I used to just be, according to her, I was such a little nuisance, always running around the house, and she couldn't always control me. So what she used to do is sit me down right by the stovetop so she could see me. And I'd have to sit there and watch her cook because I couldn't jump down because the stovetop was so high. So I was forced to stay there and just watch her cook. And I think from that young age, I just ended up falling in love with it. I loved it so much. I ended up just going onto the stovetop myself to just watch my mom cook as I got older and older. So it was really had to be my mom was the number one influencer in my life to become this kind of great entrepreneur that I am and this great cook. I really owe it all to my mom.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know what? It's so interesting when I have these conversations with people in our space. It comes right back to something in their childhood, and here it is again. And that's amazing. It was your mom that inspired you and kind of sparked your interest in this. And there was a lot of love that went into those meals, right? And it's sort of like there's a responsibility that you probably feel, is what I'm hearing you say, that it's not just slopping something on someone's plate. It's like, I am giving you nutrition. I'm serving you. What and how am I serving you? What's the wake that I'm leaving behind me with this meal?
Exactly. And that's exactly how she used to cook it. It wasn't like a quick 1 hour cook. She'd be in the kitchen for like 3 to 4 hours cooking up dinner. So, when you're in the kitchen for that long, you're making a good, hearty, healthy, fresh meal, right? It's not just coming right out of a box and it's going into the microwave and you're eating it. So,
Yeah.
it was something great to watch, especially at a young age. And I kind of took that and it instilled in me to kind of create food like that food should take some time to make. It should be good and healthy and organic and fresh for you.
So as you went through the journey, went through culinary school, after you were so inspired by your mom, you said, that's what I'm going to do. So you went to culinary school, you got all of the training behind you, and then you worked in other restaurants and mentored by many different great people.
Yeah.
How did that shape you? What was that like? Okay, I'm never going to do that. I am going to do that. What was that like?
And I always said, getting into culinary, it's either you love it or you hate it. And the people that love it really take it seriously. Like it's a really big deal. It's something that's really close to my heart. It's not just another job or, this pays the bills, this pays for my car. It's more of the passion, right? I love food. Food is art to me. It's cooking with special ingredients makes me feel like I'm an artist. I can't draw or paint worth crap. So this is my way of being such a cool creative artist that comes out in my food, and me being able to serve clients here in Edmonton or anywhere that I've cooked in and around the world and got trained. It really is it's really affected my life in such a positive way. It's given me something to kind of go for and kind of strive to be the best at here and try to make people happy. And it's nothing better feeling than when you make a great dish that you're so proud of and people are enjoying that in front of you and they're loving it. I think that's a priceless moment for me, and I wouldn't trade that for anything.
That's your paycheck.
That's my paycheck. I don't work to hope that, I hope Gourmet Prep makes millions. Don't get me wrong. I hope it does great. But the biggest thing is like, I'm very client centered, and I love being able to show people what I can do with food, even if it is healthy, gluten-free, and all this stuff. And it's more of a challenge. I like that. I like being challenged with my food and how I can create these custom-made menus for people.
And there's this idea that people have, it's gluten-free. It's going to be like, I'm going to be eating cardboard now.
Yeah. And I wanted to take that idea.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't even know and that it's gluten-free.
Yeah. We actually, funny enough that you just mentioned that, it just sparked something that we also do, like low carb, sugar-free desserts, buns and biscuits.
What? That's not a dessert.
So I always call them guilt-free desserts. So I got a lot of people that I used to do a lot of farmers markets last year, and they'd come in and they'd be like, oh, no sugar, it must be crap. And I just started throwing out these samples. And eventually I just started telling people, I didn't even tell people what was in them. I was just like, hey, give this a try. They're like, oh, I'm gluten-free. I'm like, I know, it's 100% gluten-free, I promise. So they tried these and they were like, holy cow, these literally taste like cheesecake. It tastes like a Nanaimo bar. And like I said, I'm very passionate in what I do. And if I'm making something, I want it to have that quality and I want it to have that taste of, you can't tell the difference between these. And it's a guilt-free dessert that's sugar-free, 100% gluten-free. We use almond flour, coconut flour, sweeten it with monk fruit. So it's all these cool ingredients that people have really never heard of or played around with. And it's healthy and it's good for you almost. And you can actually feel good about eating a dessert.
Yeah. And then where you're coming from, where this whole thing was birthed from for you, hey, this is actually good for you. I'm not harming you.
Exactly.
I'm helping you.
I'm helping you. And they love it. Like people are like, this is incredible. And I'm like, yeah, thanks so much. It's great. It's great to see people being able to have these kind of treats that they couldn't have before, like 6-7 years ago. Everything has gluten in it. Everything has sugar in it. And it's kind of so cool to see this movement of a lot more people and entrepreneurs like myself making these really cool products.
So tell me, what are you doing in your business? What are you doing for yourself right now to just kind of take yourself to the next steps? As we're going through COVID, we're hearing so many different things. It was just the other day, I think it was yesterday, Dr. Tam announced that, social distancing is still going to be a thing for a while and masks are still going to be a thing for a while. And people are still, not exactly sure how do I go through this time and how to, what's been the experience that you've seen out there as far as people having events? What does that look like? And as well, how you're preparing to kind of continue to serve and do good.
Yeah. So what we've done too is, funny enough, we launched our catering right at the tail beginning of COVID. We launched our catering events and we're like, oh no, oh boy, because we're so used to always having caterings every summer, whether it's big weddings and banquets. But now with this entire pandemic happening here, everything's kind of been put on a little bit of a pause. But what we've started to do now is, hey, let's take this same idea of what we're doing with meal prep, but offer it in the event space of caterings. So it's so cool that we now do custom catering drop-offs. So we've had a couple of companies call us and like, hey, Keegan, can you do like a custom catering drop-off of a pasta or build your own taco bar or pierogies? And we're like, yeah, no problem. If they want us there, by all means, we'll be there with our masks and our gloves and we'll serve them. But a lot of companies are taking it to that next level and like, hey, I can just order this in bulk, like meal prep and catering, and then give it to my staff still. We're also, what we're doing is we do a lot of private events at your home. And we say, hey, if you've got a nice backyard or if you've got a really big dining space for say 5 to 10 people, we'd love to just come there as a personal chef and give you guys a night out of dinner, but we're there in your home. So kind of taking that catering experience to that next level while still abiding by all the EHS rules and being COVID friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the neat thing too is that when we're doing these virtual events, one of the trends that I've been seeing out there is these little micro events within a larger event. So it really does give that opportunity where you're able to share the experience. You've got that personal person-to-person experience, but you're really able to do the social distance. You're able to enjoy the same foods as everybody else that's at that event, but and stream it so that it's like these little micro events going on. And that is another way that you're able to just very efficiently serve people and deliver that experience to everybody.
Yeah, it's great. And you're completely right.
Yeah. So what about as far as the next steps? Like, what do you see kind of going forward with, serving events and what that looks like going forward for you?
Well, we're really excited to do it. So we're excited to get some more live events coming up. And we slowly even started to see some more and more businesses being more open to these hot drop-off caterings. And they're starting to be more open to, hey, I've got a business meeting for just 10 people. Do you think you'd come in and show us how to light shrimp on fire or show us how to pickle for this cool event with a smaller team? And it's like micro events within a micro event, like you said, which is really cool. And we're hoping to keep on going in that direction and figuring out ways to better improve ourselves and still stay within being COVID friendly and everything during this pandemic, but still wanting to have events because we still want to have that human contact and touch. It's very hard to serve somebody food over a computer screen to be like, hey, look what I made. Here you go. Come pick it up. Whereas, right, it's very hard to do that. So us almost being there and kind of just making sure it's a small crowd, everybody's following safely 6 feet apart. The chef is there cooking for you. It's kind of the direction that we want to be heading in.
Yeah. But if companies are wanting to do more of that virtual event and still have that, charcuterie board or something really cool that everyone is experiencing with this event, they're able to do that one-time order, have it.
100%. Yeah, exactly. If you guys want to do a sandwich event or charcuterie board, cheese board, anything like that, it's those drop-offs that we can just drop it off. They can even Skype me in and be like, hey, Keegan, what is this? Because I've had a couple of clients in the past too with our charcuterie boards. They'll be like, this is so cool. And they'll be on their phones and like, hey, Keegan, what cheese is this? And they'll be like kind of that personal chef touch again. If Keegan's on the phone there explaining what everything is there, and it's that chef restaurant environment that we can still create using technology.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how are you, what was your big discovery as you went through this experience? And, it's interesting you were launching at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
So that actually positioned you to really be able to serve in a real safe way and provide this niche to people. So as you're moving forward, how does that look for your own self and your next steps? What does that look like for you?
Well, I think, COVID really was, it was a curveball, and it made a lot of entrepreneurs kind of change the way food and how we can deliver it to our clients in a lot of different ways. And us ourselves, especially, we're like, okay, how can we manage to still do what we're doing and still provide that customer service? And I think with us getting more involved into the tech space, we want to kind of almost do more recipes for people, kind of build your own, educate people too as well while we're doing these events, because we want them to use us forever, but we also want to be there as an educational tool of telling people, hey, you could do this yourself too as well. Like, here's the gourmet cookbook almost of this is what you can be doing. This is what you could be doing. If you don't want to do it for that week, give us a call and we'll be dropping it off right by your door. So we want to be more than just those regular guys that are just, oh, we want you guys as clients every week ordering caterings and meals. We want to educate the people on also how to cook. And if they want to do it themselves, we want them to be able to kind of move along and do it themselves too as well.
That's awesome. So during this time, what's been your new little recipe that you've come up with for yourself that maybe, the guinea pigs have tested out for you?
My favorite stuff that I've gotten into since this all has happened, I've been really lighting up the barbecue a lot, even here at home and at the kitchen. So we've been playing around with some really cool like chicken wing recipes that we want to kind of send out to some of our clients here and there. Our new honey hot recipe, but I'll kind of keep it on the down low until some clients order it and we kind of experiment with it more. But it's almost like a tandoori style smoked chicken wing, and it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of been my fun right now for the summer. I've been hanging out with the smoker and the barbecue a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole thing. The smoking, there's technique behind that.
Oh, there is, depending on your wood chips. Different woods have different flavors, how long you're smoking it for, all that stuff. So I've had a lot of fun experimenting this summer with that, and we'll probably be testing it on my family guinea pigs soon.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know what? It's 30 degrees outside here today. So I'm sure that this is like between today and tomorrow, before it starts raining like crazy again, you're going to want to get that barbecue going.
Yeah, I think I actually have some wings marinating right now in my fridge. So I might light them up for lunch.
That's a little delivery, Keegan.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been awesome and educational. And congratulations for really getting ahead of this and being able to serve people in an amazing way. And if they are someone in Edmonton is looking to get into that catering space, they can reach out to you. They can,
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, to learn the right way to serve customers in a safe, great way. That's awesome, Keegan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Angela. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Keegan, for sharing that with us today. It's so important to just make sure that we're eating well, isn't it? And I just love that that's what your passion is all about. This is where this all came from. Thank you, Keegan. So looking forward to another episode of Event Pros Preparing Today for Tomorrow as we discover new ways that we're innovating in this post-COVID event space. Thank you. Cheers.